What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today we're back with your questions being answered in an installment
of For the Greater War.
And I'm joined by Gersh.
Gersh. And you are?
Sound Alchemist.
And this is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, simply comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Shishi Bizzle did. He asks, this is his 5th try. What would happen to humanity if the Emperor had finished the Webway project?
Ooh, pack your bags, guys.
We going to Disney World. The Imperium would be a powerhouse in the sense, so if he would have finished his Webway projects, would mean that he would be still alive. Mm-hmm. With the leadership of the Emperor, I really think that chaos would have been thralled.
Thralled? What does that even mean?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
It is. It gets the people going!
I'll break it down to what I think would happen with each race. So the orcs would have been suppressed. Chaos would have been pushed back, courtesy of Necron technology, which the Emperor would try to tamper into and try to figure out how the pylons work and how he can use that to close off the warp. And I think that because the Webway itself is alien technology. It's Eldar technology, which was Old One technology. So that's how I feel that the Emperor would just logically say, all right, I've mastered the Webway, which was there. Now I want to figure out how the Necrons do their thing with their whole anti-gravity, anti-physics stuff.
Anti stuff.
And then, of course, the Tyranids would be the main focus or the main fighting thing. If they even show up, because the Astronomicon could have been what's bringing the Tyranids in. Mm-hmm. With the Webway complete, there's no need for the Astronomicon. There's no need for a beacon to call the Tyranids.
Right.
So, if the Webway project would have been complete, it would have been, good for humanity.
Yeah, definitely they'd be at the pinnacle. Would you go as far as to say that they would be the next Old Ones?
Yeah.
In terms of like technology, superiority, that kind of thing?
Yep.
What about the Necrons? Do you think they still play a big part? Or will they just be ready for them when they would awaken?
No, I think that they would awake just like they're awaking right now, slow and not very good. Because we're in the 42nd millennium and they're still struggling to wake up. Mm-hmm. The Emperor would have finished the Webway project back in the 30th millennium. So Necrons weren't as active as they are now.
True.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yep.
Good answer.
Next one.
Alucard Depis. What kind of music would orcs listen to?
Anything from SZA. Next question comes from Dan B. Could good gods be created in the same way that Slaanesh was? I think so.
Yeah.
I think that it's extremely easy and it's very primitive to have negative emotions. So, lust, anger, and just like treachery. I think like when they say like a child is taught how to be bad, I don't think that's true. I think like when you're born, like some kids are just naturally aggressive. Like they just like to hit.
But if you think about it, good and bad is based off of societal norms.
Yeah, that's
aggression
true.
Is just there to help you survive, help you hunt, help you be the top dog and have like more resources available to you to thrive, reproduce, and then create more offspring.
Right, and I'm saying that like morally, humans they think that the things that we say are good are not necessary for survival. Like sharing is important to a certain extent, but it's not to like if you look at it from like an animal point of view, like this tribe is going to share amongst themselves, but they're not going to share with the other tribe. They're going to be more aggressive towards the other tribe.
Unless there's a bigger threat, and then there's safety in numbers. You got to share, work together in order to.
But then the tribe just gets bigger, and then the aggression goes to. What I'm saying is like the good things that we see as good have become good because we have been able to like pass the negative, if that makes sense. So like because I'm thinking of like corn, right? Because that's aggression, all that kind of stuff. Those are all.
I thought you were talking about the food.
Yeah, corn.
No.
Cornflakes.
So you're talking about corn as like aggression, hatred, bloodshed.
Yeah, like I think that comes natural to just beings, intelligent beings first, and then as they progress, then they develop like kindness and stuff like that. And I think the bad chaos gods are being formed now, and then the next chaos gods that are going to be formed are good, or what we think are good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you can also throw in or another thing that throws everything off is the fact that, like, even though Korn is the god of blood, he's also the god of honor. And we categorize good or honorable as good. So
right.
You could say that good chaos gods already exist. Korn, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch.
Slaanesh isn't all about, eating ass and lust. I mean, it has perfection. It's also a part of Slaanesh.
Yep. Eating ass. Next question.
This is an interesting one by Proud Heretic. So during the Siege of Terra, Horace lowered the shields on the vengeful spirit as an invitation to the Emperor to come and fight him. So, wouldn't it make more sense that instead of just teleporting the Emperor, couldn't the Emperor just teleport like a whole bunch of explosions into the ship and kill Horace?
No, because it's his baby boy.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, it could be kind of anticlimactic if, like, Horace is like, all right, come up here, I'm ready to face you. And then you just see, like, a whole bunch of, like, torpedoes and stuff just blow him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows how the Emperor had a really strong connection to the War Master. It was his favorite son, which is why he got the title of that.
Right.
So, of course, him going into the ship instead of just sending, like, servitors or bombs makes sense.
Yeah. It's also really well written. Like, there's just so much interpersonal relationships going on there. Like, Horace and Sanguinius were best bros. They were really close. They fought in a lot of wars together, and they were buddies. So much so that I forgot what was the name of the book, but it's one of my favorite books that I read. That Horace knew of Sanguinius's flaw, like the black rage, the red thirst, and Sanguinius was like, "Yeah, like I can't have anybody find out about this because they're gonna turn me into the Emperor, and then he might get purged like the 2nd and the 11th legions." But Horace was such a bro that he's like, you know what, I got you, bro. Do what you gotta do, I'll keep this a secret. And then Chaos came in, and at the end of the day, Sanguinius was killed by his best friend. And not just that, then you have the whole hierarchy of like father versus son, favorite son, disappointing his father, knowing so well that the Emperor could have killed him at any point in time. He was always trying to see if there was redemption in Horace, which once, the Emperor got so messed up because he was losing the fight on purpose, or not on purpose, but he was holding back so much so that Horace was almost killing the Emperor. But after, the Emperor, said, you know what, there's no redemption for you after he did that blow, then you could see that Horace was sorry in his dying, last breath or whatever.
Remorse.
There you go. So, F you, Chaos Gods. So yeah, it's more than just war and blood and like a great fight scene. There's a lot going on there.
Yes. Thank you for sending that question our way. Next question comes from Cage Schultz. First in a while, I go to Santa Fe High School, so I took a break. Could the Big E control the WAAAGH energy or exert power over ethereals? No and no.
Well, I mean, if he really wanted to, I guess since he's like such a really strong psyker, he could. But he doesn't deal with Xenos.
Yeah, it wouldn't be he's not really manipulating the WAAAGH energy. He's just manipulating the mind of an orc.
Mm-hmm. Which in turn is manipulating the WAAAGH energy.
Well, no, I don't think the orc would be able to tap into the WAAAGH energy when he's being controlled, though. I think. Anyways, next question comes from Mueller Potguider. How do we know that the Emperor is a perpetual? Has he died and returned at some point in the past? It was written in one of the books.
I think so, yeah. And also, the Space Marines get traits from the Emperor, and since Vulcan has the trait of perpetualness, it's kind of inferred that Emperor has that.
Yep.
And he's been alive for like forever, so...
So if you're not a perpetual, then what vitamins you taking, bro?
Mm-hmm.
He has a second question. Before his internment in the Golden Throne, empowering the Astronomicon, how did humans navigate the warp during the Great Crusade? Did Horace and his shenanigans destabilize the warp to the point where it is now? Right, so first off, the warp was not as volatile as it is right now. It was still pretty bad, but not as volatile. The Emperor still controlled the Astronomicon from afar. Yeah. So the Astronomicon was still around. They could do that. But even before the Astronomicon was built, they would do short jumps in the warp. Yeah. Just a couple days, and they were small and secure. Yeah.
Kind of like a micro penis.
Small and secure.
Well, probably insecure if you have that.
Yeah.
Shinku Kirito Ichika. What would happen if Ferrus Manus wasn't killed and he continued to lead the Iron Hands onwards in the heresy? He and his legion would be involved in the Siege of Terra too.
I think he would have raced to... No, I think he would have stayed back around Isfahan system and tried to kill the people who betrayed him. So who's the main person that betrayed Fulgrim?
Fulgrim, yeah. They were buddies.
It would be another situation like Gilliman versus Angron and Lorgar after the betrayal at Calth.
Yeah. But it'd be cool because we'd have hopefully another sculpt to use. And he was always one of my, I guess, middle favorites. I wouldn't say he was like one of my favorite Primarchs, but he was pretty cool.
Initially, he was my favorite.
Initially, damn.
Yeah, because I like the look of it, but then the color scheme... Or I like the color scheme, but then painting it is just kind of like...
Because it's like black and gray.
It's like black on black. I don't know. Yeah. Last question.
This one is by... Oh, we already did that one. It's what would happen if the Emperor finished the Webway?
Yeah. We already did that one. What's that other one?
Who would win, Thanos or the Emperor?
The Emperor. Unless Thanos has the arm.
Infinity Gauntlet.
The biggest thing about the Infinity Gauntlet is the whole reality bending thing. Because you could play around with that so much to the point where like...
You don't need all the stones.
No. You could just pretend that you're fighting someone when in reality you're just hanging out. Making YouTube videos.
Chilling like a villain. Watching the sun rise on your perfect world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we got.
Thank you so much for sending those questions our way. If you guys have more questions, comment down below.
If you didn't get to your question, keep on commenting it. Or hit that like button on other questions you think we should get to. Usually the ones with the more thumbs up gets pushed up to the...
to the tippity top.
And yeah.
Thanks for everything, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Sound Alchemist.
Gershwin.
We are out of here.